Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Nintendo Switch games to buy before they become rare and expensive. The first game that I'm going to cover on this list is an Asian import release because we didn't get a physical copy here in North America or anywhere outside of Asian regions, I believe, and that game is Story of Seasons Doraemon. Now, if you know anything about the Story of Seasons games, these are basically farming / life simulation games. But what makes this release different is that it has a crossover with Doraemon, which I believe is an anime character, an anime show. I really don't know anything about the anime, but I looked up prices on this game, and on the secondhand market, it looks like it is already getting pretty pricey, but you can still buy brand new copies right now from PlayAsia for around $50. Another Asian import release on this list is Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, which is published by Bandai Namco. Now, this game is basically an arcade-style golf game, very similar to the Mario golf games. I believe it's even made by the same developers, so that is pretty cool. Unfortunately, this game did not see a physical release outside of Asian regions, but this is another one that I believe you can find right now available on PlayAsia. The River City Girls Double Pack is a physical release that I have covered a few times here on the channel before, but now we are getting River City Girls Complete Edition, which comes with River City Girls 1, River City Girls 2, plus the Double Dragon DLC, and River City Girls 0, all available on one cartridge for $50. The only place that I have seen this release for sale is also on PlayAsia, and I'm not even a PlayAsia affiliate, so I don't get any commission from them or anything. I'm just trying to tell you where to get these games if you're interested in them. But if you don't know what the River City Girls games are, these are basically kind of like side-scrolling beat-em-ups with action RPG elements incorporated into them, which does make them a really fun time. I only beat the first game. I was playing the second one, but honestly, it seemed to have a lot more backtracking in it, and that made it a bit more hard to get into for me. But this collection, which features all 3 games, plus the DLC, is definitely worth it if you don't own any of these games already. Real quick, before we continue on with this list, I just want to ask if you're enjoying the video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out in the algorithm. If you have the feature available to you, please give me some hype points as well. And if you're not already and you like Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate you watching. And the fourth game on this list that you may want to buy before it potentially becomes rare and expensive is Slay the Princess Pristine Cut. Now, this is basically a horror visual novel. There also is like a special edition available, which isn't too much more expensive than the standard release, I believe. Of course, with special editions, those are definitely going to hold more value, especially if you keep them sealed. I'm not a sealed collector myself, but I know some people are, and this game, I believe, will be sought after years down the line by visual novel and horror fans. Now, games number 5 and 6 on this list are actually both currently available for pre-order through Limited Run Games. I just wanted to cover them to help spread the word for anybody who might be interested in picking up these games physically, because I know JRPG fans love their physical games, and it has just recently been announced that Star Ocean: The First Departure R is getting a physical release through Limited Runs, and I believe the pre-orders for this game do close on October 29th, so you do still have some time to act on that one. This was a digital release only for the Nintendo Switch for the longest time, so for people who are big fans of this game, that is pretty cool that it's finally getting a proper physical release. And another game that's getting a physical release through Limited Run is the sequel to Scott Pilgrim. Yes, we are getting a brand new Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up called Scott Pilgrim EX, and pre-orders for this one are actually closing pretty soon, so that's why I wanted to put it on this list, because pre-orders do close on September 21st for this game. Now, making this video right now is causing me to realize that all these new physical releases are definitely getting hard to keep up with for me, because the next game on this list, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, is one that I am definitely interested in. This is basically a tough as nails action platformer. If you know what the Ninja Gaiden series is, you already know that, but just describing it for people who may not know, this game does look really good. I believe it even reviewed really good. And the reason that I wanted to put Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on this list is because we are definitely coming to the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, and this is one of those late releases. So I definitely do believe that this game possibly could become rare and expensive further on down the line. So those were 7 games that I had never covered in this series before. Now I do want to cover a few games that I have talked about in previous episodes, because since I've talked about these games, they definitely have not gotten any cheaper. So I do believe that now is the perfect time to buy them before they do potentially become rare and expensive as time goes on. And the first one of those games is Hades for the Nintendo Switch. With Hades 2 coming out soon, I do believe that could definitely cause more interest in the first game and cause more people to seek out a physical copy for Hades on the Nintendo Switch. This is an action roguelike game that looks really good, and I've been slacking because I do need to get around to playing this one. Maybe I might do so before the second game comes out, because I do want to play the sequel as well. And another game that I've talked about before is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Now, in my opinion, this was an overpriced port at $60, but because of that, it has held its value really well. I don't think it's really ever gotten any significant sales at retailers, but on the resale market, you may be able to get it a little bit cheaper there. I did get this copy sealed on eBay for $43 after tax, which was better than paying $60 for me, because I wasn't going to pay $60 for a game that I already own on the Wii and the 3DS, but I did want to play it on the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2, because that's the way that I primarily play my games these days. And of course, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is another one that's really never tanked in value. Now, you can get this online for around $40 to $50, which isn't too bad, but it's still been holding its value there. And I believe over time, once these games become harder to find, that these games definitely can go up in price. And Tropical Freeze is one that I've noticed that I actually never really see at retail stores anymore, unless GameStop might have a used copy available. And Red Dead Redemption is another one that I've talked about on this series before, and actually since covering it in these videos, it definitely has not gotten any cheaper at all. If anything, it's only getting more hard to find, and it's holding its value really well. This is a really good open world action adventure game from Rockstar Games, basically kind of like GTA, but set in the Wild West, but I would argue with actually a much mature and better story than most GTA games have. It doesn't have all the silly humor and stuff that GTA has. It kind of has a bit of a more serious tone, but if you're interested in having this one on the Switch, I definitely think that now is the time to get it, because it's not getting any easier to find or cheaper. And then another game that I did cover a while back is Castle Crashers Remastered. Now, this one may be pretty expensive on the secondary market, but you may be able to find it for affordable prices. I believe Video Games Plus had copies of this. I don't know if they still do, but every now and then I know the publisher or developers, the Behemoth, were selling this on their website at retail value. I think it was like $35 or $40 when I got it from them. So if they're still doing that every now and then, that would be the perfect time to purchase this game. I don't recommend buying it from the scalpers, however, but if that's the only way you can do it and you really want the game, I mean, to each his own. And another game that I've covered before that is finally coming out on Friday is Trails in the Sky first chapter for the Nintendo Switch. And if you have the Switch 2, you can pay $1 and get the upgrade. So I know both people who play on the Switch 1 and Switch 2 are going to be seeking out this physical copy. So if you don't have it pre-ordered like I do, definitely pick it up as soon as possible if you want to play it, because there has been a trend with these Trails games that they do end up going out of stock pretty quick, and resellers will put them on eBay and sell them for like $100 for a copy, which is absolutely ridiculous. I never recommend buying games from these scummy resellers or scalpers. And I do have this game pre-ordered, so I will be doing an unboxing on Friday, hopefully if GameStop has my copy. So subscribe to the channel if you would like to see that if you're not already. But I really do appreciate you all watching so much. If you enjoy the content, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell if you're not already, and I will catch you on the next one.